Welcome back to Beyond the Lash Line. This is Carissa with the CH. I want to talk to you about pricing. I will break down the equation at the end, but first I want to discuss why it's okay to charge premium prices, even if you feel as if your technique isn't perfect yet, and how to provide a killer client experience to make up for areas where you're still growing. Just because you're not a master lash artist, that doesn't mean you can't charge more. It just means you're going to have to put in more effort in other parts of the business. Lowering your prices won't solve your problems. Honestly, I have recorded this so many times that I am not doing it again. I have even recorded this entire episode and edited it twice all the way through. And now this is the last time I'm recording. You get what you get. I hope that this encompasses everything that I need to say because I cannot do this again or this episode will never be out. So, today's episode is about how to charge a higher rate in your area, how to know when to raise your prices and how to tell your current clients, but also how to not lose your current clients while raising your prices for the new clients. If you're struggling with what to charge or second guessing whether your prices are too high or too low, you're not alone. I see posts about this all the time in Facebook groups. And let me say this loud and clear. Lowering your prices won't solve your problems. If you're in a slow season, charging less won't magically bring in more clients. And even if it does, they won't be the clients that you want to have. Bargain hunters are usually people living paycheck to paycheck. And while there's nothing wrong with that, they're not the clients who will sustain your business. I want you to just understand that if you take anything from this, it's charge your worth. Whether you know what that is or not, it's definitely not lowering your prices. There are people out there that will pay ridiculous amounts of money just based on perceived value alone. Bear with me and I'll explain that in a bit. After listening to this podcast, my hope is that you gain the confidence and understanding to build a book of clients over time that makes these struggles absolutely worth it. I know a lot of people struggle with the barrier of imposter syndrome. And understand that you are not an imposter. If you're constantly getting no-call, no-shows, cancellations, or reschedules, I want you to look at your prices. It might be a sign that they're too low. Especially if your full sets are around $100 and your fills are $50, you may be attracting the kinds of clients that aren't financially stable and are looking for low prices. I have my prices set high enough that those people probably think I'm crazy when they get on my booking site. They think I'm overpriced, but really, I'm not overpriced. I'm just out of their price range. I'm out of their budget, and that's okay. I want the person that's looking for the highest priced services because they expect the highest quality lashes and experience. So that's what I provide. There is a concept called perceived value. Perceived value is how people judge the quality of a product or service based on its pricing, branding, and presentation. Think about it this way. If you were to see an item on Temu for let's say $30 and the same type of item on Amazon for $100, which one do you automatically think is better quality? I know for me, I'd assume the $100 item on Amazon is better, even if I hadn't looked at reviews or compared the two products in depth. Why? Because of the perceived value. When something is higher priced, people tend to assume it's better quality. This assumption is deeply ingrained in our psychology. Higher prices signal better lashes and experiences even if that's not the case. There are so many clients who are willing to pay for the best, no matter how much that is. On the other hand, if your prices are low, clients might wonder, what's the catch? They might assume you're inexperienced, your lashes won't last, or the experience won't be as relaxing. And worse, low prices often attract clients who don't value your time and expertise. If you charge Temu prices, you get Temu clients. I know that is harsh, but it's the best way to get you to understand what I'm meaning. I had a friend reach out, "Hi Anna," telling me that really stuck with her. So I hope it helps you and sticks with you as well. If you're going to charge high prices and you don't feel like your retention is there or something else is not compatible with the price tag, you can compensate by giving an amazing experience. If you feel like you aren't providing an amazing top-tier experience, take this as your sign to make that better. The experience is key to me because skills come with time, but unfortunately, our bills aren't waiting. If you're newer to lashing, it is likely the results and retention that aren't going to be perfected yet. And that's okay. You'll get there. If you can get the client experience honed in, then you can work on bettering your application, styling, and retention in the meantime. But you do need clients to be able to do that. It really does get better over time, I promise, as long as you don't get lazy. I see people get too comfortable and they lose attention while lashing, which causes them to not pay enough attention placing each individual lash. It does reach a point where lashing is muscle memory. But just as with any muscle, you have to exercise it. Lashing on autopilot isn't working that muscle. Just as going about your daily routine, picking up a toddler, or grabbing all the bags in one trip isn't the same as exercising. Is it better than nothing? Yes, it's just not the same. I would rather you work on autopilot doing client after client than not do anything at all, because you're obviously going to be exercising that skill enough to not lose it. And if you were to stop completely, you would lose it. But that doesn't mean either is a good option. We have to continue placing lashes intentionally and not become zombies. That's a textbook way to become burnt out and lose love for what we do. You have to continue watching the lash wrap. Watch the bases fully adhere to the lash. Thread that fan onto the natural lash. Watch all of it happen for each placement. Continue putting all of yourself into your appointments. This is what's going to set you apart and make your retention top tier. Practice makes perfect, no matter how long you've been doing it. If you're in the early stages of your lash career, you probably don't have retention down 100%. And the lashes may not be award-winning in appearance yet. That's fine. That doesn't mean you have to charge the lowest prices in town. You will want to focus on the experience in that case. A great place to start would be the 5 senses: smell, hearing, touch, sight, and taste. You want to have something that smells good, such as a room spray, a diffuser, but one of the things that I do and keep on hand is a scented hand sanitizer. My clients love the smell when I start working on them. For hearing, you can either tailor it to client preferences or to your brand. If you want a specific feeling in your workspace, that would be how you tailor it to your brand. So like I like to put in coffee shop music or something and put that playlist going on in the background. Some people like to do podcasts. That's just not my vibe. I do listen to podcasts. I just listen in my earbud and I let my clients relax. Another way to stand out and elevate your experience is by setting things down gently so they aren't clinking while clients are relaxing. Random loud noises can be startling or a bit overstimulating, especially when your eyes are closed. Even something as simple as a tweezer being sat down can feel obnoxiously loud while your eyes are closed. Lay a paper towel down to buffer the sounds. This may seem like a tiny thing to change, but I've had clients mention that they could tell how intentional and gentle I set things down during their appointments. People notice, so that's a great experience. It just elevates it and makes it feel that much better, more top tier than just setting stuff down and it clinking and clacking while people are relaxing. When it comes to touch, I recommend having soft blankets, but I also think the most important thing for this sense is how gently you're touching your client. There should never be a time where you rest the entire weight of your hand on a client. Use your hand to steady yourself and rest on the client, of course, but do not prop yourself up on them. Every client who has ever been to anyone else before me mentions how light-handed I am when working with them. This is something clients notice. I had a new client just today tell me a determining factor of if she keeps going to someone is how heavy-handed they are. So keep that in mind. She told me that after her service and she was like, so this is definitely going to work out for me. It was so sweet. She was so sweet. She left a review. She messaged me. Like, she is such a sweet human. I actually have a new ideal client and I can't wait to build my new ideal client sheet based on her specifically. And I'll tell you a little bit about the ideal client in a little bit. Okay, on to sight. Obviously, our client's eyes are closed, and we could consider how their lashes look to be part of sight and being visually appealing, but we're talking about the experience before, during, and after appointments, not necessarily the final result, because that would fall under your skills, and we're trying to look at the experience. You need to have a clean workspace. Declutter your station, sweep the lash graveyard, put your wallet, purse, jacket out of sight and in a cabinet, basket, drawer, whatever you can do. The cleanliness of your space ties into the perceived value. I shouldn't have to break this one down too much. Things should be kept clean, but definitely if you want to charge higher prices. You'll want to focus on decluttering as well to minimize the visual noise. For me, I got rid of my lash cart and now I have drawers that look more sleek and finished, and they house all of my extra thingamabobs. The next sense is taste. I just offer mints, water, or something at their appointment. I highly recommend setting one singular drink and treat out for your client's appointment. They see it and know it's for them, versus if they see a bowl of treats and a stack of waters. They obviously know that that's for everyone, but it still feels like you're taking from someone's stash or something, and it still feels like you have to ask for it. I don't know how to explain that, and I don't know the psychology behind it. Maybe that's just my anxiety. Either way, I have witnessed firsthand with all of my clients how happy they are to see that there is a mint and water intentionally set out for them to take. And before they leave, I ask if they would like their mint and water, not a mint and water. And I have clients that after their appointment, they're like, okay, I'm going to take my water now. And they just love that it's theirs. It's not just something that's available to them. It's for them. It's like a little gift. I don't know. I also tell my clients, make sure you hydrate. I don't hydrate, but I want my clients to hydrate. It's the little things, truly. Okay, now that you know some little tweaks to make for providing a great experience, let's talk about the kinds of clients you actually want. Because your pricing determines your clientele. Think about going into Chick-fil-A versus McDonald's or Waffle House versus Huddle House. These places are similar, but they're targeting different kinds of people. If you charge low prices, you'll attract clients who can only afford low prices. These are often the ones who cancel last minute, can't pay a deposit, or expect refunds over small issues. But when you charge premium prices, you attract clients who prioritize quality. These are the ones who book their fills before vacations, consistently return, and they value your work. They could afford to go to anyone, but they come to you because they like the experience and the quality lashes that they get from you specifically. You're chosen, you're not a last resort. To reference myself earlier, if you charge Team U prices, you get Team U clients. And that's not what you want. You want clients who appreciate your time and respect your worth. If you're constantly getting no call, no shows, cancellations, or reschedules, you're likely not charging enough for your area. One sign that your prices are too low is if people cannot afford to pay the deposit. If you listened to my last episode about policy, it's completely different when someone is not comfortable putting their card information online. That's a little bit different than someone not being able to afford the deposit until they get paid. If someone can't pay a deposit because they haven't been paid, they're probably not my ideal client. If they're paycheck to paycheck, they likely have bills to pay when that check comes in, which tends to be a bit more than expected. If they did not have money for a deposit days ago, I wouldn't expect them to have enough spending money after bills come out of that check. Building a clientele of the right people boils down to knowing your ideal client. It's one of the most important things to determine when you're getting serious about raising your prices and getting booked. It determines how you go about policies, pricing, and can impact how you communicate with your clients. My ideal client can afford me even in a recession. Their bills are paid, they're not paycheck to paycheck, and they come to me consistently. This is someone that has a busy life, but they make time for self-care, and I know that they'll be at their appointments when they say, because they don't have wiggle room in their schedule. That also means I have to hold myself to higher standards and not be late so I don't mess up their schedule. I could do an entire episode on creating your ideal client to target, but for now, I've created a downloadable resource for you in between re-recording this episode multiple times. You can find it linked in the description below. It's only a few dollars. If you're looking for free resources, you can follow that same link and get a free downloadable for an entire month of content that's planned out for you. Once you know your ideal client, you can set prices that attract them. This may look like raising your prices above average. This is when you do some market research and take a peek at lash artists in your area. If the price you're at or the price you're thinking of using is seemingly average for your area, you can raise it. Why? Because of the perceived value. Sorry. Okay. Higher prices attract clients who value quality and reliability. While I did say, look at the artists around you, one common mistake is basing your prices on what the other clients in the area are charging. Specifically, the problem is matching lash artists that charge less in the area is a huge mistake. You don't know their situation. You don't know what their bills look like. You don't know if this is just extra spending money for them. You don't know their situation. Maybe even their cost of living is lower. Your prices need to reflect your reality. You may get more clients booking, but the less you charge is the more you have to work just to pay your bills. I personally don't want to work more than 20 hours a week, but that's just what works for me in my life. There is another artist mistake: setting prices that only work if you're fully booked. Building a clientele takes time, and you need a buffer during that process. If your bills were $4,000 a month, for example, if you charged $50 for a fill, you would need about 40 clients coming every 2 weeks just to break even. If you charged $80 a fill, you need about 25 clients coming every 2 weeks. If you charged $100 a fill, that's only 20 clients coming every 2 weeks. If your fills are an hour long, that's only 40 hours a month or 10 hours a week. Not only is that great as far as making more money, working less, blah, 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 but it can take a long time to get fully booked, and I'm sorry, but that is the truth. Even if you let a social media manager take over for you, it takes time to get those clients. You have to lay the foundation by charging prices that attract the right people, search engine optimization, having photos on socials for people to find you, but you are limited to when people are actually ready to book. You're limited to when people are finding you. You can make it more enticing and get people to act faster, sure, no doubt about it, but it's still not going to happen overnight. Having your prices set high enough to where you don't have to be fully booked to pay your bills is crucial. Obviously, we have to pay our bills, and not to mention, we have taxes to pay. I have absolutely been in the crappy situation of all of my money going to bills and not being able to set money aside for taxes. Not a fun time. No matter what your prices are, you aren't going to be fully booked from the get-go if you're a solo artist. If you are, then reach out to me and I would love to interview you and have you on an episode because that's amazing. Once we are fully booked, whether that's working from the time we wake up to when we go to bed, or maybe that's just working the maximum amount of hours we want to work, that means it's time to raise your prices. That can sound a little scary and you might be scared to lose clients, but that's the point. If you are fully booked, you can raise your prices. When some people fall off, you'll be making the same amount while working less, or you'll be possibly making more money while working less, which is even better. I went from $50 fills to $80, and then from $80 to $100 fills. I only lost 2 clients, and they were college students, so I can't actually blame them. Another thing that I changed when I changed my prices was changing my service options. I used to have the traditional classic hybrid volume options, but now it's all one set price. Now I just offer a regular fill and an extended fill. I offer a full set and a new client full set. I did have mega volume a little bit higher when I was learning because it was taking me longer. I was using more product because my fans were getting tossed because I was getting frustrated and I wasn't making them well. And I had to compensate myself for the extra time and products used. Once my mega volume fills were done in the same amount of time as my other fills, I took the mega fills away and now it's also a part of the bundled fill option. Side note, I don't even do classics and traditional hybrid anymore. I use 0.03 exclusively for all sets. I say exclusively, but I do use the occasional 0.05, but that's rare. For my hybrid looks, I'll make fans with my 0.03s. I'll make spikes or narrow fans for the other bits. It's a lot softer and it's more comfortable because the lashes are softer and not stiff like a classic lash. When it comes to raising your prices, I see a lot of questions like, how do I communicate a price increase without losing clients? Should I announce it publicly or tell clients individually? What's a reasonable amount or percentage to raise prices by? Should I offer existing clients a discount or grace period? Is it better to increase prices gradually or all at once? So let me break this down. First and foremost, I always recommend telling your clients individually. Do not make a post announcing your price increase. Personally, I don't post a price list on Instagram or Facebook for this exact reason. Instead, my pricing is only available on my booking site. When new clients find me, they don't need to know that I just raised my prices. That's irrelevant to them. What matters is what my prices are now when they're booking. Only focus on communicating increases with your regular clients. When I decided to raise my prices from $50 to $80 and later from $80 to $100, I informed my regular clients in advance, which is very important. For my existing clients, I made sure to let them know during their appointments. I'd say something like, I want to let you know that I'll be raising my prices soon. If you book online, you'll notice the new rate. But if we rebook now at your appointment, your current rate will stay the same until, and I tell them the date. I immediately went ahead and updated my booking site to reflect those new prices. For new clients, there was no transition period. They booked at the updated rates right away. There's no need in taking on new clients with the lower prices when you know you're going to be having to raise those prices anyways and have a conversation with them in a few weeks. You need to give your regular clients a clear timeline. I recommend a couple of months at least. This allows them to plan and adjust. You could say, I'm investing in advanced lash courses to improve my skills, to provide you with better lash retention, styles, and optimize your lash health. To accommodate the cost of furthering my education, I'll be increasing my prices starting, give them a date. Due to all of the tariffs and some lash companies raising their prices, some people are going to have to raise to accommodate that. And it's okay to tell them that. Being transparent builds trust, and most clients are going to understand and appreciate the heads up. If you don't have a lot of clients and you need to make a significant price increase, such as $20 or more, because you definitely don't want to do it by $5 or $10, but you cannot afford to lose your current clients, if they're your ideal client, they can afford you. If they're not, they can't. And then it's okay to lose them because they're not your ideal client. If you're afraid of losing money by losing all of your clients at once, then push out the date of the increase even farther. Don't do 2 months. Let them know that in 6 months, this is the date that it's going to go up for them. Keep in mind, your booking site is going to allow all the new clients to book at the updated rate. This just gives you a buffer so you still have your current clients, but you're getting new clients paying that rate. And once the price increase comes, you're going to have new clients already, and it's okay for some of those others to fall off. But this gives you the 6 months you need to get new clients in the door that are your ideal client. And it's likely if you push it out that far for the current clients, they're going to continue coming to you up until that time or for at least a while longer. They won't feel pressured to find a new artist right away. Now that you know how and why to raise your prices, let's actually get into how to choose those prices, because that's not necessarily the easiest thing. Like, you just pull a number out of your butt? What do you do? But basically, yeah. You need prices that allow you to build a successful, sustainable business without overworking yourself, and that is key. The goal isn't just surviving, it's thriving. We have every right to be able to pay for vacations and not just cover our bills and overhead. There's not a one-size-fits-all answer, so I can't tell you exactly what to charge because I don't know your personal bills. I don't know your overhead, and I don't know your goals. Pricing is personal, and it starts with understanding your numbers, which equate to your financial wants and needs. The first thing you want to do is decide your goal annual income, and this is different for everyone. It depends on where you live, your bills, it depends on the lifestyle you want to have, it depends on so many different things. But basically, how much do you want to make in a year? What is optimal if you're fully booked? This should be a goal number and not necessarily the amount that covers your bills, but the number that would make you comfortable and happy, and should be significantly higher than what you require to cover your bills. 6 figures is usually what everyone goes for. That was my goal too. But for now, let's say that your goal is $80,000 a month. Nope. Yeah, a month. Fuck yeah. No, $80,000 a year. You want to divide your goal number by 12 months. That tells you how much you need to make per month to reach that goal amount. In this scenario, it was $6,666 per month. That's coincidental, but we're just going to keep moving forward because I'm not remathing everything. It's already done and I've recorded this too many times. The second number you need to know is the maximum amount of hours that you want to work per week. Multiply that by 4 to get the total amount for the month. For example, I only want to work a maximum of 20 hours a week, which is 80 hours a month. In this scenario, I'm going to simplify the math by assuming a fill is 1 hour. This doesn't include the amount of time spent marketing or client communication, just the amount of time working on clients. And side note, for when deciding how much you want to work, it's also important that we don't overwork ourselves because lashing can hurt our body and eyes. But also, if we wanted to work 40 hours a week, we'd just go work a typical job and not have to worry about all the extra things that we do. We'd just get a 9 to 5. Okay, so if you want to make $80,000 a year, that would be $6,666 a month. And if you wanted to work 80 hours a month max, you'd divide your monthly amount by your hours. In this case, 6,666 divided by 80, which equals 83, meaning $83 for your fills would get you $6,666 a month and $80,000 a year if you were fully booked with your 20 clients coming every 2 weeks. So your lash trays, your adhesive, rent, utilities, your taxes, all of those things do add up. While it's great to factor in your supplies, it's tough to know exactly how many lash trays or adhesive bottles you're going to go through each month. That changes depending on what the individual clients get, how many lashes you use, if you're having a great day and you use less, or if you're having a heavy-handed day and a lot more lashes are going into the graveyard. You can't quite calculate what is going to happen day to day. That's why I always recommend aiming a little bit higher than the amount you come up with. The amount you want to make per year should be significantly higher than your required income for bills. So that equation should give you plenty of wiggle room for taxes and supplies. If it doesn't, go a bit higher. And yes, I know if you're setting a goal amount and you're increasing that to accommodate for all the other little bills and things that we get siphoned with, you're going to feel like, oh, my prices are super high. People don't want to pay that. But people will come to you even if you don't provide the most amazing lashes or the best quality lashes, as long as the experience is one that they want to have. If it's an experience that other lash artists are not providing in your area. If you're the only one they can get that from, then you're the only one they can get that from. They probably don't give a crap what their lashes look like. They're probably there for the experience. But if you were to provide the best lashes in the world and provided poor experience, they probably wouldn't come back. The lashes wouldn't be enough, but the experience is enough. As far as getting people in the door, it's important to understand how they think. Again,
perceived value.
They're going to assume that the higher priced artist is the better quality one. My ideal client will look at the price more so than the pictures I post. People that are on a budget are searching for pretty lash photos and the lowest price. Since they're looking for the lowest price, they know it's a gamble with quality. Therefore, it requires more research. If someone is looking for the highest priced services, they're assuming the quality is there, and they don't have to dig any deeper. The higher financial class someone is, the less footwork they're going to do in their day-to-day life, meaning they likely don't even have time to search through Instagram photos, compare everyone, etc. They're searching for best lashes near me and finding the highest prices because of, and I'll say it again, the perceived value. Repetition is key. That's how we learn. I'm going to say it a million times. If you look up an Amazing Lash Studio's Instagram or Facebook or any other large franchise, you won't see a lot of before and after photos or lash photos that aren't stock images. Just some food for thought. Having a bunch of eyes on your social media might not be attracting the clients you want. My free content planner will help you build a professional social media page by getting rid of all the eyeballs, because truly, that's not what our high-paying clients are wanting to see. That will be in the description or show notes of this episode so you can get that free content planner. So, once you've got a client in the door, it's your job to provide them with a great service and experience to get them coming back. The hardest part is to get them in because it's such a saturated industry, so the easiest part is keeping them. Just keep them happy. If most of our clients are happy and satisfied and a random client comes in and is never happy, it's not you, it's them. I would just recommend them to someone else and keep my books available for the clients I enjoy. When you charge higher prices, you have the luxury of getting to choose your clients carefully because you don't need as many. When you need 40 clients just to pay your bills, you tend to take what you can get. Knowing who your ideal client is really helps you understand which clients you want to keep or not. If you have any clients that come in and you're like, whoa, this sucks, this will be a crappy day, you need to get rid of that client. If you are serious about raising your prices and having a full clientele of people you genuinely enjoy, I truly believe you'll benefit from my Ideal Client downloadable. Again, the link to that is in the description. Once you know who you want to target and how much you want to charge, you'll be able to charge these prices without fear. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I know pricing is a complex one because I can't say charge this is the perfect price, and you have to tailor it to your specific situation, so I will help any way I can. At the end of the day, your pricing reflects your worth. When you provide quality services and an amazing experience, the right clients will find you. And don't forget, raising your prices gives a sense
of a higher perceived value.
Thank you so much for listening. That is all for this episode. I hope that it encompassed everything, and I hope you have a better understanding of pricing, and hopefully I could diminish your fears a little bit on the topic.